Hi, my name is Jessica Jones, and on social medias, I usually go by woketeacher. So I will attach all the social media handles below. So if you want to see more content from me or just give me a follow, that would be great, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. So the YouTube video I'm going to be talking about today, or the information in this video I'll be talking about today, is the Department of Defense Education Activity, or DODEA, and my story, how it's been going for these past 2 years, and just some pros and cons when it comes to the organization. So, and just to give you a heads up, there's a lot more pros and cons. So if you want to hear about that, stay tuned. So let's get into my story. This is, I believe, my second year in DODEA, so I've only been here for 2 years, but this is my 4th year teaching. So I just finished up my 4th year, and I will be going into my 5th year in the fall. I was hired on for DODEA to be a math support specialist. And so what that kind of is a teacher who goes into classrooms, but I also have a tier 2 support system when it comes to working with students and helping them in the areas of math. So if you would like to know more about what is it like being a math support specialist, or how that is going, please feel free to leave a comment. That would be very much appreciated. So back to my story, I originally heard about DODEA through the working with the kids at the school that I previously taught at. So not a lot, but some of the kids there, it was really close to a military base. So I really got to get that first insight from there. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I had expressed wanting to go overseas and teach and wanted to do that, and I was really excited. And she said that, hey, why don't you teach for DODEA? That's perfect. And so after that, I believe after that first year of teaching, because this was my first year of teaching, I applied. And after the first year, I actually didn't hear back. So, but later on that year, I did get an email from the organization saying, hey, if you would like to basically take your application and have it roll over into the next year for consideration, then please let us know. And so where I did that is USA Jobs. And so I was like, of course. So I rolled it over. And long story short, after my second year of teaching, that's when I heard back from the organization, and the rest is history. So I wanted to talk about now going into like the pros and cons, and kind of like how has it been for these past 2 years, because I think making a video and sharing this would be helpful to maybe some new teachers coming into the organization, or just maybe someone who is looking into teaching internationally or overseas. So here we go. So let's start with the pros. So pro number 1 is the diversity and culture that you'll get to experience. So not only will you get to experience the culture of the placement that you will receive, because when you are hired on, they will ask you your preferences, but ultimately your offer will be from a school that is, I guess, within a certain country that showed your preferences. So you're not 100% choosing where you'll be going. A lot of times they choose you, but that's okay. But anyways, yeah, not only will you get to learn about the culture when it comes to the area where you'll be placed in. For example, I'm in Japan, and so it's been a beautiful experience learning about that. But you get to learn about the culture and diversity amongst the students. I mean, working with students that, not only did I experience that at my last school, but being able to work here with military children and learning about their stories and how much they've been through, experience in their little lifetime. So other than that, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So pro number 2 is supports amongst staff and students. So one thing that I really like working for DODEA is they give our teachers the support and resources that we need to ultimately educate our students and help them be successful. So for example, a example of this, and if you want to go watch Allison Hodges' video, she is another creator on YouTube, so go give her video a watch. But she brought up the fact that you get days off, or not off, but where you don't have students in order to officialize grades and even have conferences, so parent-teacher conferences. So you're not waiting after school that day, and then you're not at school till 8 p.m. having conferences. You have that whole day to have that done. And so that's a really good pro. And then I guess amongst in the school, I mean, when I went into my classroom was fully stocked. I mean, I didn't have that experience at my last school. A lot of the time, like, I did get inherit stuff and they did have some basic stuff, but a lot of the stuff I'm supplying for my room. But that was a really cool experience here, being able to see or come into an environment where, hey, all you have to worry about is teaching these students. And the last pro is travel. So if you love to travel, if you want to explore a new country, this is the place for you. It's really cool to be able to go out on a weekend, and if I really wanted to, I could go to Osaka, I can go to Hiroshima, I could go to Fukuoka, and depending on where you're placed at is to travel. And I think the best thing about that is being able to see a whole new world, a whole new culture, and being able to explore the side of the world, even outside of Japan. Like, for example, I went to Thailand this previous year, and that was awesome. I got to even go off the mainland of Japan, and I got to experience Okinawa, and that was beautiful within itself. So travel is also an awesome pro, and it's so easy to do it here. And along with that, when it comes to traveling, so for example, since this is my second year, so you do 2 years, and for 2 years you're on probation. But after that second year, they offer RAT. And RAT is a renewal, I think a renewal travel agreement, or renewal agreement of travel, but we just call it RAT. I'm not sure what the acronyms. But essentially they'll pay for you to go visit home. And so I'm really excited to do that this summer. So I'll be going home, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I'm excited, but I'm not, I'm not ready to go, but I guess it would be cool to go home, get that fixed, and then come back. Okay, so here are some cons. So in a video, or in that same video, Allison Hodges, she talked about the hiring process, and that is, it can be super confusing and super overwhelming, because it's sometimes super unclear, and the communication can be off, because a lot of times you're talking with a person over an email. It's not usually a phone call. It's usually you doing this over email. So I think that was a little bit intimidating at first, but once you're here, you're here. But other than that, getting past that, then it's easy sailing. So if you want a video about the hiring process and how that looks, then I would love to make a video about that, so let me know in the comments. Okay, so the second con is that I realized when coming here that there was some processes within the school systems that were a little bit dated. So even though they have all those resources and awesome resources, there are times where when I would go to workshops or even work amongst my peers, I realized that some of the stuff that we were just now talking about or getting to experience, we schools in the stateside have been talked about for the past 10 years. And that's I think within that I had a sort of an advantage, but there can be an advantage and a disadvantage with that. So that's something that I noticed as well. All right, and then the last con, and this is not usually for, well, I guess it does have to kind of go in with DODEA, but culture shock. So I think, especially teaching overseas, I was prepared for it, but I don't think I was as prepared for it as I realized. And especially since beforehand, I didn't live on a military base. So the culture amongst the military base is a lot different than the outside culture in maybe the regular world or whatever. So that was a big experience, and I guess it's not necessarily a con, but just making sure that you have your supports in place with maybe scheduling phone calls for family, because in living international, it can be isolating a little bit. So making sure you have those supports in place. I know a lot of people come over here with their families, so that's a really good, helpful factor. I personally came here by myself, so that was a very interesting experience, and maybe that's why I put that on this side of the list. But ultimately, once I got my feet on the ground and was established, it was cool. So I think it's just a heads up that not a lot of people talk about, but it's something that you can get your feet on the ground and be able to, once you move past it. All right, well, that's the end of my video. I'm still here living the dream and enjoying every minute of it. But if you want more content from me or have any questions, please leave them below and I will get to them when I can. But thank you for watching, and like I said, my social media handles will be in the comment box or section below. So other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right, bye.